Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to look at the Animus in all the plastics. Alright, so as you can see, I've got the Animus in all the different plastics. So I'm going to test these out for you so you guys can see which ones are stable, which ones are less stable, and which ones fly just right. So let's see how they fly. So we're going to look at the Aura, the Nebula Aura, the Ethereal, the Nebula Ethereal, the Ethos, and the Glow Animus. How have I not been throwing these sooner? This disc is great, and I ordered this video from most stable to least stable. First off, the most stable Animus, in my opinion, was the Glow Animus at 175 grams. This thing was beefy as far as the Animus goes. When you throw this disc flat, whether it's in the wind or has a tailwind, this thing is stable. It's going to do a nice hyzer line the whole time, and it's stable enough that if you put it on an anhyzer, it will fight out of that and give you a nice stable finish. Now, once I realized the stability of this disc, I started taking advantage of that by throwing it flat and also on little anhyzer lines, and this disc was definitely reliable, especially on some of these days that were pretty windy that I was playing the course. You can trust this thing in the wind anytime. This is a great disc for wind shots for sure. And oh, did I mention that it goes a long ways? Now we're going to look at the Nebula Ethereal Animus. This one was pretty stable too, not as stable as the Glow Animus, but whether it's in the wind or has a tailwind, this thing had good stability too. I really liked the feel of this one compared to the Glow. I felt like it was a little bit grippier, and the swirls, the nebula swirls on this thing were really cool. Stability on this was great. Put it on an anhyzer, it'll fight out of that and end up a little bit more to the left with stability. This disc in the wind had a little bit of a flip up, a tiny bit more than the Glow disc did for sure. But this disc bombed. You could put it on nice big hyzer lines and it'd go really far. I really enjoyed throwing this disc a lot. In fact, I enjoyed throwing this so much that I put this in my bag for my first tournament that I did of the year. And with the extra stability of this disc, it felt really good throwing it on a sidearm also. Now we're going to look at the Ethereal Animus. This one was just a touch less stable than the Nebula Ethereal, but it still had lots of really good stability. I felt like out of all the Animuses, this was definitely the most neutral one. You could get it to do some flex shots, you could get it to do some anhyzer shots and some hyzer shots. It wasn't overstable, wasn't understable, it just had a great stability to it. This was a good all-around distance driver for the 11502 numbers. Now we're getting to probably one of my favorite Animuses that I tried out, this Ethos Animus, which was 168 grams. This thing bombed. This first shot here was in a tailwind, so you see the stability there, but this one right here is in a headwind, and it flexes all the way to that telephone pole there and then drops. This gives you great long distance S shots. This was a tailwind shot, put it on an anhyzer. It went so far, ended up hitting that fence in the back, which was well over 400 feet. I was really impressed with this 168 Ethos Animus. This thing just went a lot further than any of the other ones I was trying out. Not sure if it was the lightweight or the Ethos or just the combination of both of those, but man, this is a great disc. This disc was the other one I ended up putting in my bag for my first tournament of the year. This thing bombs. It does great flip ups, and one of the holes that I played in my first tournament was a 441 foot little bit downhill shot, and this shot right here ended up pin high just a little bit to the left for a nice easy birdie putt. Okay, now I was a little concerned that maybe the lightweightness of this was the reason why it bombed so much, so I ended up getting a 175 gram banana miss. And definitely the banana miss at 175 grams was more stable than the 168. Here's a side-by-side shot. Here's the 168 gram. You see I get a little bit of a flex there and ends up to the straight, whereas the 175 definitely held that line, hyzered out. They both went exactly the same distance, but it was just two different ways of getting to that shot. So take that for what it's worth. All right, now we're gonna look at the Nebula Aura Animus. This disc was definitely along the lines of the Ethos Animus at 168 grams as far as the stability goes. You could put it on an anhyzer, it would hold that for the most part, then fight out. It gives you some really good S-turn straight shots, but the Nebula Aura Animus was definitely flippier than all the other discs so far. This would be a great disc for hyzer flips, long bomb shots that you need to throw nice and high. This one did just as well on that 441 foot shot, maybe not quite as far as that magical 168 gram Ethos Animus I had, but this is a great flyer. I think given a little bit more time figuring out the angles to put this one on, I think I can get this to go just as far as that Ethos one. And I really like the Nebula Aura feel for a sidearm shot too. This thing went really good on sidearms. Now we're going to look at the flippiest Animus of all, which is the Aura Animus. Even at 175 grams, this one was flippy. This is a tailwind shot right here. You can see it goes nice and straight the whole time until it really slows down, then gives you a hyzer. And then in the headwind, you're really going to notice it flipping over here, and there's not really much stability there at all. It just flips and keeps on going. This is a great disc for flip up hyzers. Check out this tunnel shot. Flipped up nicely, gave you even a little bit of stability at the end, but the Aura Animus is a flip up hyzer machine. I really like this one. This one reminded me a lot of the 168 Ethos Animus that I was throwing, but this Aura one at 175 is going to be a little bit easier to find, and from what I hear, a lot of people that throw the Animus in Aura plastic really love the flippiness of it. So I think if you're really looking for a good distance driver in the 11 speed that'll give you some nice flip ups that'll go a long ways, I think the Aura Animus is definitely the answer for a lot of us with arm speeds similar to mine. Well, whatever Animus you need, there's definitely a different one in every type of plastic. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope this video helps if you're trying to pick out an Animus. These things are great. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out. If you'd like to get one of these discs, head on over to throwanotherround.com. They've got discs, they've got apparel, and free shipping over $75. Better yet, if you're in the Denver, Colorado, or Charlotte, North Carolina area, head on over to the store, grab a disc, grab a beer. It's a good time. Thanks, Another Round.